Okay, well now I'm going to kind of go into more statistical ideas, and this might be a review for some of you if you've ever taken my one credit class, but some of you may have not, so I need to kind of explain this idea of statistical significance. Some of you have heard this term before of statistical significance, so I want to use a few examples to try to explain this to you. The question about statistical significance is the idea of when an event happens, does it happen simply due to chance factors? Or is it not due to chance and potentially some other variable kind of causing the event, something that is statistically significant? So that's the question that we ask. Is the result due to chance, or is it so unlikely due to chance that there must have been something else going on? So a few simple examples might put the point in good clarity for you. What if I asked you, what if I told you that last year in Roanoke, Virginia, or up in Stanton or Richmond, there was one day where the temperature got over 100 degrees? Now that is an event that could happen. And what if I asked you, did that happen just due to random chance, or do you think it's an indicator of global warming, of climate change? What would you probably say? Is that due to global warming, or could that have happened just due to random chance? Well, most people would probably say that could probably happen just due to random chance, because if you went back in the records, probably once every 2 to 3 years, maybe 10 to 20% of the time, that event has happened historically. So if an event happens due to chance more than 10, 15, 20% of the time, you'd say, well, that was probably just due to chance factors there and not something like climate change. But let me give you a second situation. Let me give you the situation of, let's say last year or this year in Roanoke, there were 30 straight days where the temperature got to be over 100 degrees. 30 straight days, so the whole month of June, let's say. And then I said to you, do you think that could happen due to chance, or do you think that was possibly due to some other variable such as climate change? Well, what you could probably do is look back in the historical records and just see how often does it actually occur that we get 30 straight days of above 100 degrees. And you'd probably say, well, you know what? That is very, very unlikely. And so you might find out that the probability of getting 30 straight days of above 100 degrees due to chance might be 1 in 1,000, even 1 in 1,000,000, but we'll say here 1 in 1,000. And so what we do in statistics is if we find an event like that, then we basically make the conclusion, well, that event could happen due to chance 1 out of 1,000 times. That's not very likely due to chance. I'm going to reject that idea and basically come to the conclusion that there was some other variable going on, quite likely something like climate change. So with statistical significance, we try to find out what is the probability of an event occurring due to chance. And if that event occurs due to chance less than 5 times out of 100, which 1 out of 1,000 is, you make the decision that the event really wasn't due to chance, it was due to something else. So hopefully that makes sense. Let me give you another example. If you've ever heard from the old days something called the Psychic Friends Hotline. So let me give you an example of this. Let's say I told you I had psychic abilities here. And I said to you, I'm going to be able to tell you all the suits of the cards. So we have a whole deck, 52 cards. One of the games I used to like playing with my little sister was 52 card pickup. Would throw the cards out and let her pick it up, but that's of no consequence here. So anyway, let's say I told you that I was a psychic and that I could correctly guess before you turn any card over what suit it would be. So there are 52 cards. Let's say, for the sake of example, that after turning the 52 cards over, I got 15 cards correct. Would you probably argue that I was a psychic if I got 15 out of the 52 cards correct? You would probably argue no, because chance performance there with 52 cards, if you were just guessing due to random chance, would be 13 cards, because you'll get them right kind of on a quarter of the trial. So 52 divided by 4 is 13. So if I got 15 right, you'd say, you know what? That's pretty close to chance behavior. I don't think you're a psychic at all. But let's say, just for the sake of argument, that you got 50 out of 52 suits correct. You'd probably say, well, the likelihood of that happening due to chance is probably 1 in 1,000 again. It could have just been a lucky situation for me, but the likelihood of that is very, very low. It might be 1 in 1,000. And so then you would probably argue, you know what, this person could potentially have some psychic abilities. So the idea of statistical significance is the idea of what happens, or what is the likelihood that this event could happen due to chance. And we make this idea, the criteria we use is something called 0.05. If the probability of having this event happen due to chance is less than 5 out of 100, 30 straight days of above 100 degrees, 50 out of 52 cards, that could only happen due to chance 1 out of 1,000 times, then we say, you know what, that probably wasn't due to chance. There was probably a statistically significant effect, and there was another variable at work there. So write some notes on this. See if you can write them down, because these are the important concepts. If you need to listen to this again, you certainly may, but hopefully this gave you the idea behind statistical significance. Thanks. Bye-bye.